a tweet from none other than Jason Whitlock saying, do you have the tweet right there from Jason Whitlock, guys?
Yeah, I'm pulling it up
All
right
right,
now.
because he from Fox Sports and FS1.
Yeah, he said about 3 hours ago, "Hey, Rich Eisen, would you mind reaching out to Tamron Hall on my behalf, please, and thank you."
Well, but he kind of did it himself because he at Tamron Hall.
He did. That was a smart move.
Of NBC News and MSNBC. And Jason Whitlock of FS1 and Fox Sports joining me here on the Rich Eisen Show. What's up, Jason?
How are you, Rich? You that story in the Ringer, kept hope alive for me. I have followed and unfollowed Tamron Hall on Twitter, 20 times trying to get her to follow me, and it hasn't worked, so I'm reaching out to you.
Okay, so now how do you want to go about this? Because I don't know her. It might be a little awkward for me to reach out on your behalf. Do you mind?
Yes, I don't mind being awkward. Listen, you've gone to the lengths I've gone to try to get her attention. What do I care at this point?
Okay. Now, is there something I should, if she does show interest, that I should mention? Because I've talked, when Michelle was like, tell me about Joe, I said he's a funny guy, he's this, that, the other thing. I mean, what should I highlight for you, Jason?
Well, I'm a D-list media celebrity, so I got that going for me.
Let's bump it up to C. Let's bump it up. Come on. Let's bump it at least up to C, Jason. Okay.
I'm a C-list celebrity. As far as I know, I'm disease-free. As far as I know, no kids. I'm single.
Okay, that's important. As far as you know, or you're
No, I'm single.
Okay.
My credit, listen, this is probably my best selling point. My credit score is in the 820.
Look at you. You're like the Babe Ruth of credit. Look at you.
Yeah, it's in the 820s. So,
Okay.
I can afford a good house. I'm in bed most nights by 10 o'clock.
There you go. Now, do you think it would help or hurt to have Cowherd as a wingman?
I think it would help.
You do?
Cowherd's got a successful marriage going on right now, so I think that would help.
Okay. All right. These are all, I think altogether, this is an excellent resume that I am going to, when the show is over. Do you want me to retweet what you tweeted at me, or do you want me to just go straight direct to Tamron? Jason.
A retweet would be good, but if you have to go direct to her, because, the way you work, Michelle Beisner, sounded pretty promising to me, so I'm hoping you can get on the phone with her at some point and plead my case.
I don't know if that's going to be in the cards, but I'm going to turn to my two Chris's here. What do you think would be, well, Brockman, you're the single guy here.
Yeah.
What do you think is the best maneuver for Whitlock here? What do you think?
I like the retweet of his tweet because it establishes your guys' connection.
Okay.
And she can just see his page immediately.
Okay.
And then you kind of talk Jay up a little bit and then wait for her to respond.
Well, that's a winner, Whitlock. Okay.
I feel like he needs more than just a retweet, though.
Okay.
Let me add this, Rich. You need to tell her that some people believe I actually played quarterback for Michigan in the 1980s. So that enhances the resume.
Yeah, okay. That's a good one.
Have you met her before in person, or is this purely just off of the Today Show and seeing her on TV? Jason.
Totally off seeing her on TV. I literally think she's the most beautiful person on television. I've never met her in person. I know some people that have worked with her, and they've said great things, but it's just totally, I just think she's the most beautiful woman on TV.
Are you willing to relocate? She's on the East Coast in the Big Apple, and you're on the West Coast.
I'm going to have a look at her contract before I'm willing to commit to relocate, but I would consider it.
Well, long distance. My marriage started with a long distance relationship for 3 years. We have 3 children. We're married coming up next week, 13 years. So it's fine. You just start. Let's just take baby steps here. Let's start with the retweet. We'll start with the retweet, and then we'll see how far it goes.
I just want to get a Twitter follow, and then I can get in the DMs and work my own match.
That's right. Slide right in.
Slide right in. You sounded just like Eli Apple's mom there for a second, Jason.
Oh, is that how she did it?
Well, no. She's talking about sliding into people's DMs. That's
yeah.
That's how she got a gig on ESPN.
Yeah, I got no
gosh.
problem sliding into the DMs. I've been trying to get her to follow. Hey, how about, here's another one.
Yes.
Perhaps if we put a little snippet of this interview together, you could come up with an MP3 file and put that in the tweet to her, some kind of podcast so she can listen to this,
Okay.
hear my voice, hear the sincerity in my begging. Maybe that'll help.
Yes, it sounds better on a SoundCloud, doesn't it? Sounds
Done.
a little bit better on a SoundCloud.
We can do that for you.
Okay, so this is what we're going to do. So now this has production value. My gosh.
multimedia.
Okay. So it's production value, social media.
Yep.
Now it's radio as well. I mean, basically, I've given you all my platforms, Jason. I can't do any more than this. This is all I got for you. Okay. We got. I've got Jason Whitlock here on the Rich Eisen Show. I need to ask you actual questions that you are expert in 100%, and that you are you're more I guess have the standing in that regard. With Durant's comments today about being selfish when it comes to free agency, and he won't match up with Westbrook, at least not yet, needing to speak to himself. What'd you make of those, Jason?
I thought that was interesting, and I think that maybe there's a reluctant acknowledgement from Durant that these two guys don't work well together, and he needs to think about that. What's best for him, not what's best for us.
And that was based on what has happened the last 2 years, or you can't view what happened in the last couple of years as maybe a stepping stone that they should continue to explore?
Nah,
That's another way to look at it.
I think blowing this 3-1 lead and blowing this opportunity the way that they did, I think it's just based off the last 2 weeks. They need to look at, do we really bring out the best in each other? After Game 6, I was convinced that Durant brings out the worst in Westbrook. After Game 7, I'm convinced they bring out the worst in each other, and you just can't deny that. To me, and I know this is not a statement everybody believes, but Charles Barkley believes it. I believe Kenny Smith believes it. Oklahoma City had the better roster, had the better team, more length, more athleticism, and they just threw that series away because Durant and Westbrook just don't work together well in tandem.
But they worked well together against the Spurs, right? And they certainly worked well
An
together.
An old Spurs team that literally just melted at the sight of Steven Adams, Serge Ibaka, and Enes Kanter. They turned Tim Duncan, David West, Boris Diaw, LaMarcus Aldridge. LaMarcus Aldridge looked good for 2 games, and then that size and length just ate them alive, and they wilted and melted. That's what happened to that Spurs team. It wasn't really about Durant and Westbrook. If you go look, I mean, David West, he was on my Pacers, and I know him well. Great low-post player, great mid-range shooter. That size and length just ate him alive. We saw Tim Duncan, one of the greatest players in the world, turn into a mummy in that series. Again, that was more about those young, athletic guys that Oklahoma City has than anything Durant and Westbrook did.
I'm on the phone with the future groom of Tamron Hall, Jason Whitlock, here on the Rich Eisen Show. You like that reset? I can't. I mean, I'm giving you resets too. I mean, I got nothing left. Nothing left to give. What's your prediction for the NBA Finals?
Well, listen, I predicted Oklahoma City in 6 and for them to win the whole thing. And so I don't feel like I have a right to make any type of prediction in this finals. I'm just going to sit back and enjoy it. I tend to think, and this is not a prediction, I just kind of tend to think LeBron's going to win, but I'm not saying that with any kind of real conviction.
I just think that this is obviously, the finals that we wanted to see last year. We're going to get it a year later, and this may just be LeBron's time in Cleveland. This may just be the moment for him.
I certainly think it's the NBA's time. I think this is going to be a well-watched NBA final. I think the Steph Curry versus LeBron narrative is as good as anything we've seen really since Magic and Larry. And so I think, by games 5, 6, and 7, all of America is going to be watching this, and maybe we'll have some Jordan-like ratings for the NBA.
All right, Jason. What do you have?
I got 2 more follow-ups for you on Tamron Hall that are. You're back.
Okay,
questions,
we're back
Jason.
on it.
Oh my gosh.
This will be part of the mashup that we send. You have 1 meal that you can cook her to impress her with. What are you making her?
Oh, boy. There's only two things that I cook, and they're both horrible for you. I make awesome fried chicken. I cook it about once a year, and I make a pound cake once every holiday. My family makes me make this cashew pound cake. So those are the only two options for me to cook. But I got this Italian chef named Michael Angelo that comes by my apartment from time to time and cooks. So I would have him come over and cook for us.
His name is really Michael Angelo? Are you serious?
That's the name he uses, yes, Chef Michael
Okay.
Angelo.
Nice.
Okay. No, I just thought like his first name is Michael and his last name is Angelo. That would be really impressive.
So she
I
loves the
don't
fried
think that's
chicken.
Okay.
She loves the pound cake. It's going really well.
Oh, my
You
God.
ask her.
Careful.
She says yes,
Okay.
but the condition is you have to switch your last name to Hall. Do you do it?
Done. That's easy. Oh, that's easy.
Okay.
That is
Okay.
done.
All right.
I will go by Mr. Tamron Hall if necessary.
Oh, my gosh. Good chatting with you, Jason. We'll do our best, okay?
Thank you, Rich.
You got it. There's Jason Hall.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern on Audience.